Welcome back to Blue and Blur, everybody. My name is Mark.
And I'm RJ, and we're going to talk some more news. Focus on the Toronto Maple Leafs at this time.
Yeah, some dissent in the ranks or some attitudes in the ranks in Toronto from what I saw on TV.
Well, here I am. It's a Sunday afternoon, and I'm trying to, I'm a big NFL fan, so I'm concentrating more on the New England-Denver game, but I'm flipping to Toronto, Colorado, and there it is. Third period, 5 Leafs in the press box. Either cast there by Berube or on injury, and Willie Nylander looks at the camera, and I won't do it because I don't want to do it to our both of our subscribers or viewers, but he puts the finger up, he flips the bird off, and I'm looking at it going, okay, I'm going back to the football game. Screw you guys. And I gotta say, it's not. Leafs have a history of this, rubbing it in their fans. He's 29 years old. He's not a 21-year-old kid. He's making $11 million a year.
He should know better.
He should know friggin' better. There's no excuse for that. The Stickgate thing back in I think it was in 2012 or whatever that was, organized by Dion Phaneuf and Phil Kessel. I still remember Phil Kessel grabbing Cody Franzen by the arm and physically turning him because Franzen was going, well, maybe we should salute our sticks. That was abhorrent and a real slap to the fans. But giving the finger to the camera, I don't know where the NHL player, the NHL league office is saying they're gonna.
I think they said they were looking into it.
Well, they're not going to do anything. But who should be doing?
Well, they could give him a fine, right?
Well, maybe give him a fine. I'm not thinking he should be suspended. I mean, he's on injury anyway.
But would you give a $5,000 fine to a guy who's making $11 million a year?
What do they care?
What do they? Yeah, here's.
Oh, but just
let me dig into my back pocket. Here's your $5,000. I mean, it
further embarrasses him. I guess you could ski. There's an embarrassment factor.
Yeah.
But where's the union? I mean, let me bitch about players and millionaires. Like the CBA or the union, they don't. We want our 55% of the revenue or whatever it is. We want our revenue. We want our share. We want our share. But then when they do something like that, the union should discipline them and say, hey, we have an image to protect, and we've got subscribers to TSN. We don't need them. You don't need to flirt. They're paying TSN subscribers.
There are kids watching that.
But they're paying money. You don't flip the bird. You don't give the finger to people who are paying money that then is added to the revenue, in which we get the $11 million. I'm going to say another thing about this. Like I sit here, in my little basement studio here, and I'll say funny things like, "Oh, gee, Morgan Riley, he sucks." He plays 18 great minutes, but you know what? They put him out there for 20, so we got to suffer 2 minutes of uselessness. If I ran into Morgan Riley at the grocery store in Orangeville or wherever he lives, I'd be kind of like, oh, geez, I wonder if he ever did hear that I said that. I'd be a little, and I'd be sucking up to, hey, Morgan, whatever.
No hard
but if
feelings.
I run into Willie Nylander, I will stand by what I'm saying right now. I will look him in the eye. If I walk down to Yorkville and see him walking his dog, I'm not going to walk up to him and harass him. But if we locked eyes or
just give him the bird right back.
I would not. I wouldn't get. Well, 2 wrongs don't make it right. But I would say to him, "Hey, buddy, what are you thinking? And we're not only that. We're the most suffering fans in the NHL.
Yeah,
like we are. Come on."
There's a little kid.
60 years of futility and bullshit.
Yeah.
And
there's a little kid in Sick Kids Hospital watching that game and then seeing that from
good
his
point.
Idol. Yeah.
I just was disgusted by it. And I know some people's going to say, "Oh, what are you making a big deal about it? Yeah, grow up here. Put your big boy pants on."
Yeah.
But no. And Willie Nylander was at a restaurant with his girlfriend or boyfriend, heated rivalry. Who knows who these guys date?
I haven't seen a show.
I would. We're going to talk about that at some point. But if he was with his date, and maybe paparazzi was bothering me, shot them the finger. I got whatever. I don't know if what to say about that. But when you're on the freaking hockey broadcast,
you're on the air
with the paying subscribers to the TSN service, and you're flipping them off. I don't think anything should be done. I don't think he should be suspended. A fine would embarrass him. But I'd like to see the union come out and say we're better than that.
Yeah.
The union never takes responsibility for what they need for that. They're always there for the hands out, but they're not there for the bad times. When a hockey team runs into trouble, and because of their bad play, they're less fans are going to the Scotia Centre. The Leafs are making less revenue this year, and it's partly the players' fault. We just want our pay. We just want our money. We just want our money.
Yeah.
Nylander, I like the guy. I think he's one of the most talented hockey players in the league. He's an all-world player, but and I think he's a funny guy. And I've seen him on the Prime specials and whatnot. Seems like a really interesting dude. Would I like to have a beer with him? Yeah, I would. But I'd also like to have a chance to tell him off and say, "Grow up."
Yeah.
Terrible. Just horrible. Anyway,
speaking of players and difficulties, Matthews, you had a little thing.
Well, I got to think about that guy too. I always got to think about Matthews. Steve Simmons in the Sun wrote it this weekend, but I didn't just borrow it from him. I thought about it myself. Back to the Marner thing, we can never get away from that. But the Vegas comes to town, and Matthews has got nothing to say about it. Matthews got nothing to say about his best friend, his he's Butch Cassidy. His Sundance Kid comes back to town. No, won't say anything at the morning skate, and then he's not doesn't make himself available for post game press. Okay. You're the captain. You can't afford that. You're the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Act like a captain. I don't think they should. And I'm not a big John Tavares guy, as you know. I think I don't know about his leadership skills and the way he conducts himself either. But he was a better captain than this guy. And I don't think why not? What's the rush to give Matthews the C other than just wrap around and sell more of these jerseys with his number on the 34s on the back, and now there's a C on the front.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it. The guy doesn't seem like a captain. I don't see him rallying the troops. And now I'm going to get to another subject. And it came up in this Vegas game, and it came up in this Colorado game, and it's coming up. Slow starts. The Leafs always with the slow starts. The game sevens, the ones at home. Back in the day with Montreal that one year, with Florida. They go down to Florida, shut the Floridas out, come back up here, and then they shit the bed in the first period, and the game's over. And they did it with Vegas. They did it with Colorado. Detroit game would put me to sleep on last Wednesday, which was good for me because I was loaded up with painkillers. But this is the thing about the slow starts. The media's asking Brew, what are you going to do? What can you do? And John Tavares going, we got to do better. I'm sick and tired of John Tavares and Morgan Riley going, we got to execute. We got to do better. We got to start faster.
Yeah, and then
this goes all the way back to Sheldon Keefe and even back to Babcock. Yeah. So guess who was here when Babcock was here? Matthews, Riley, Nylander, Tavares. Those four guys were in the rooms with the previous two regimes. And with Keefe, I don't know, Tavares maybe doesn't get here till Keefe got here, but whatever. Those four guys. So what are those four guys doing to ensure the other guys are all ready to get going? Like, who's doing the job to get them going? And can they just start a game faster and maybe hit a few guys and try something and look like you want to win the game?
And it would have been a perfect opportunity against Colorado because they're 4-4-2 in the last game, so they're not the team like they were before Christmas. So it would have been a really good time.
We already beat them.
It would have been a good time to start the game real fast.
I don't know how you don't start the Vegas game fast. That Vegas game had all the makings of like a Game 7.
Yep.
You know, there was going to be way more TV viewers. The fans were on edge in that, and they wanted to boo Marner, and the best way to boo Marner is also by cheering for like Nyes or Matthews to pot a couple of goals. But no, they go down 2-0. Yeah. Anyway, I got one more story, I think. And that's I'm gonna roll. I don't like things right now. And the Toronto media sells you guys like we're not journalists, obviously we're even wearing Leaf gear, although you can tell I'm not a homer. But the media in Toronto for going back to last year, because Brad Treliving's the general manager from Calgary, and he's got the inside track to get Rasmus Anderson. And I saw story after story this whole fall. Wouldn't Rasmus Anderson really perk up this defense? Boy, the Leafs, Rasmus Anderson. Treliving's got the line on him. He's hunting for him. He's talking to Calgary. Rasmus Anderson. Vegas gets Rasmus Anderson last week. What do they get for him? A first, a second which can become a first if certain parameters are met, and a roster player, like a third unit D. The Leafs don't have a first round for 2 years. They only have a second round in 27. They don't have a second round in 26. So where were the Leafs even going to compete for this? What were they going to trade? Austin Matthews? They were never in the Rasmus Anderson sweepstakes. They just weren't. But the media kept telling you, "I'm hearing rumors. I'm hearing rumors."
What rumor? what cards would Toronto have to play other than Matthews?
I don't know. And unless it was guys in the Leaf management team were leaking to the press going, oh, we're really trying to get Rasmus Andersson. Calgary wasn't even probably taking their phone calls because they'd want to get to that load. They'd have to have Cowan. They'd have to have Danford. They'd have to have one of our goalies. They'd have to have this. They'd have to have that. I mean, and even then they'd go, no, we'd rather have the 2 draft picks. So the Toronto media, they blow smoke up our asses all the time. Every time we draft, you ever notice when the Leafs draft a player in the first round, it's always a steal. That guy could have gone 4 or 5 picks earlier. Oh, the Leafs really grabbed one there. I can remember back in the day. Toronto media, they're part of the problem. They're like the mainstream media. You know, they always talk about the CNNs and the MSNBCs, mainstream media down in the States always. I'm not saying they are, but, you know, there's that kind of talk. They're pulling a fast one on you. Toronto media is mainstream media, pulling fast ones on you all the time just to sell viewers or readers or whatever. We were never getting Rasmus Andersson. Anyone who was putting their head on the pillow in December going, boy, if we could only get Rasmus Andersson. Well, you should have jumped on a plane with Mitch Marner in July and started wearing a Vegas sweater because that's how you were going to get Rasmus Andersson. I'm pretty mad. I'm in a lot of pain.
Get it all off your chest?
I'm in pain.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, I'm like Bobby Bond playing on one leg.
He's on medication. He's in pain.
See, at least that's the thing about the Leafs. I know I'm an old guy, so I remember these things, but we don't have a lot of highlights in our. We've got the George Armstrong empty net goal. We're still dining out on Bobby Bond's overtime goal in '64, broken leg. I mean, God, it's just we're gonna have to do a video one day on the history of the Toronto fandom, but.
Yep.
Okay, I'm done.
All right. Well, we're going to end it on a good note. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be in Montreal at the Montreal-Vegas game. I'm going there with my brother-in-law. We're going to go have a lot of fun. Get a smoked meat before that. You go to Reuben's. If you're in Montreal and you haven't tried a Reuben's smoked meat yet on St. Catharines, then you really are not, you're not living your full best life. Anyways, tell us what you think in the comments below. Do you like his rant? Do you disagree with him? Comment down below, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video.